Hello, my name is Mark and welcome to I'm Organic Gardening, located in Zone 6B in the state of New Jersey. I just did a video yesterday about cutting down the winter rye and trying to manage it and terminate it. So I'm back in the same raised bed. Our raised bed here is about 20 inches tall, 4 feet wide and 8 feet long. And I put this together last October of 2020. And what has happened since then, because what we did, it's also in the video, free fill for a raised bed, and it's doing quite well, is that we layered leaves and soil every 2 inches up. Now I use my own native soil and you can see how rich it was. Now what we're trying to do here is, on this part, I want to see how far these roots went down from this winter rye that I have in front of me. I might try to grab it and pull it out, but I really want to find out how deep it went, because what it's doing is that's feeding all those microbes. Every time the beautiful sunlight hits this winter rye, it actually takes the carbon out of the atmosphere and forces it back down into the soil. So we're feeding our soil for free, because what it's doing is feeding those microbes, those bacteria and fungi, and the other things that eat the bacteria and fungi, which are the protozoas and nematodes. Now there's all different types. I believe they found so far up to 100,000 different kind of fungi up there, and they think just a rough estimate, they think they'll find about 1 million in the future, and a huge estimate is 6 million different types of fungi that grows in the soil. Now, with that said, I want to see how far the roots went down, and also I'm just very curious. I'm going to dig down 20 inches and I'm going to bring that, let's say, fill here back up to the surface. And our fill from last year, and I did an amazing video and I'll do a link below, is that we just basically did fall leaves every 2 inches and then layer with soil, and then you'll see in the video how I did that. So let's get into it and let's start digging and finding out what's going on in our raised bed here with our free fill. So here I am in the corner of my bed here with the winter rye, and I'm going to say this is anywhere from 10 to 12 inches tall. Now I'm just going to go towards the edge here and see if I can cut down into it like so, and so I can pull out a nice chunk. It is super easy to dig in here. Wow, this is nice. So let's see if I can pull this out right by the edge. Take a nice deep breath. Oh, nice. Look at this. With no effort, and you can see how nicely those roots grow down in between all that leaf mold down here, and then here I get to a layer of leaves or so. And this is what's going to be doing when I plant my vegetables in here. It's this simple to achieve this. This is nice. A couple acorns left over, and you can see how thick this is, and all those roots are going through my leaves like so. Nice. I'm going to say this is about anywhere from 5 to 6 inches deep. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper. We're going to set this aside. And again, gorgeous. I'm just going to let you take a good look. Now imagine planting tomatoes into this in the future after we cut the winter rye back. And I got a lot of comments that I should use a tarp or cardboard, and we're going to be doing that in the future to kill off the winter rye. Now, nice. So we're going to set that aside. All I'm going to do is with this, I'm going to take it inside, and we're going to dig in here and get samples next to that root zone and see if there's any microbes living in there. That's the main key to this bed or any soil. And this is not really soil. This is a mixture of, let's say, a lot of organic matter and a little bit of natural soil. But we're going to take a look underneath the microscope to check out all those microbes next to the root zone, so we can see how beautiful that sunlight is coming in, traveling down with carbon dioxide and putting it back in our soil and making food for all those microbes and eating it next to the root zone. So we're going to save that as a sample. Now I'm going to move the camera so you can see where I'm digging here. Now also I want to bring this back into where you can see this. Now what it comes down to here is why I choose winter rye. See all the roots? They're not very large at all. They're just nice and skinny. Imagine all those roots which we have here, and I'll break this apart like so I can still have a sample. Now, right here in all those roots, see how thin they are? Imagine putting all that organic matter in by yourself. You don't have to, because you just grow a seed of a cover crop, or of any kind of cover crop, or winter rye, and that's why I choose it, is that it can go deep down into the bed here, and it's all these little fine roots. Those are all lifelines of air and water coming down. And what's nice about it is that when they decay, it's not hurting anything. It's making that just nice and available to the plants. All that decomposing organic matter that the microbes are eating, the bacteria and fungi, and everything that's in there is just purely amazing. And that's why I choose to use winter rye. And other people say, you know, why don't you use other kind of cover crops? Because I'm really just concentrating on getting that organic matter into the soil. Now, roots are much easier to decay than leaves, and that's another key thing that I try to do by growing a cover crop. So as I promised, and you can see here, I'm going to dig this hole. I'm just going to put the material back here, and we're going to go down 20 inches until I hit the bottom of the structure here, and I can still feel, and I think there's roots. Wow. I'm just pushing the shovel down another, let's say, not couple inches. I'm going to say at least 10 inches down here. And let's see if I can make a nice core and pull this out for you. This is just, oh, ever so easy. Let's see if I can get my hands around this. Here we go. Oh, this is another amazing thing. Now see, I had this on top, and now you can see, oh, that's at least anywhere from 12 to 14 inches deep. Now, what do we see here from that winter rye? Hopefully you can see this on camera. See all those roots still? This is all from the winter rye that's gone beyond those leaves. Another main root here. All this, again, opening up those leaves and letting those roots go through is amazing. So now we're down to anywhere from 12 to 14 inches, like so. And let's keep going. Not bad. Let's see if I can grab another handful here. Oh, look at that. Still going. Look at those roots. Oh, what a great day to see this. Now, see how beautiful those roots are? And now here's, so we have 3 sections here from this point down. So now we have at least anywhere from, let's say, this is 12 inches and another 6 inches. Ooh, a nice baby worm. A nice little tiny, oh wow, really small. I don't know. Hopefully I don't. That's the other thing I want to see in here, like so. And hopefully, there we can see, right there in front of my fingertip. Oh, it moved. Where'd it go here? Anyway, that's the other thing I wish to see in here. And hopefully what this is, and I'll put that there. Now, let's see if we can go a little bit further. Now, I'm down. I can feel the bottom with the shovel. So this bed is, like I said, it's only 20 inches deep. So let's see here. Oh, look at that. If you can see down here, see those roots? Nice. So those roots went down all winter long and opened this up. Now here we have the last scoop before we hit the bottom of the bed here. Now hopefully this is all viewable to you. I'm trying to look backwards into the camera, but look at this. See a nice root here? That's all from the winter rye. And that's where it's making our bed amazing here. And now I want to go inside and see what we got underneath the microscope in our sample, but just awesome. Look at that. Not bad. We have the total length. We first started with our first winter rye coming out on top here and all those nice root structures. Our second dig, our third dig down, and our fourth dig down. And you can see here, let's get a nice close-up so you can see. And here's our last section, anywhere from like say 15 inches to 20 inches deep. And you can see the roots here, like so. Not a lot, but just a little, like the one on top of my finger here. And you can see them in between the leaves, and it just can aerate them now. Imagine, ooh, we got some nice fungi down there. This is an old, let's say, acorn shell. See how nice that fungi is growing. Now this is a nice beautiful thing too. Now this is down 15 inches. Now fungi needs air, and what you're seeing here is taking crystals out of soil. What was the name of them? I'll find out and list it below. But you can see all this nice fungi growing in the soil, and we might have to look underneath that in a microscope in the future. But you can see how nicely it's doing. All these little wood particles down below, and that's adding and separating all this material. So when our roots from our tomato plants or any kind of other plants we put in here, like peppers or eggplants, it's going to be the same thing. This is just amazing. Just delivering those roots down 15-20 inches, and it's probably can go even further. And that's why we want to fill our raised bed with those nice leaves that we have, or coffee grounds or anything else either, is to open up all those passages so those roots have time to get down and aerate the soil, giving oxygen and water to at least 20 inches deep. Now, I didn't see a lot of worms in here, but imagine this. Besides looking at the raised bed as just a convenience way of you doing gardening, think of this. It's one nice big worm tower. We saw a baby worm in there. I'm sure there's more throughout, but you are investing in making a huge worm bin or worm tower with all this organic material in it. Now let's take some of that soil sample in the background there that we pulled out of our 20-inch raised bed and put it underneath the microscope inside and see how many microbes we got living in that root zone area. It should be flourishing right now because it's just gathering all that sunlight and feeding those microbes. That's what we want. It's nice to have organic material in the ground, but there's nothing like carbon. Carbon is a main building block in our soil or our soilless mix. You have to have carbon in there to feed those microbes and also to keep everything sustainable that can be used later on in giving nutrients back to your plant. So let's check out things underneath the microscope inside and let's have some fun. So I have my microscope set up. Now what I did here is I just took a tiny little part of a root and laid it on the slide. Now what we can see here, and I just want to show you this to you, and I'm just trying to contrast it a little bit more by moving, they call it a diaphragm, and let's see if I can get a better picture of this root for you. Now I can see it, but I don't know if it's going to come up on the camera. There's a bunch of bacteria sliding around. So let's do this. Let's move it around. Now, just to show you something here, what this is our root, and then when we talk about, this is a root hair coming off of it, like so. And here's some bacteria swimming around up in the corner here, and those root hairs have a different purpose than the main root. So let's see if we can enlarge that like so. And now it's so transparent, it's so small, you can almost see through that root. And let's zoom in a little bit here. We can clear it up. I wish I had a better microscope. Now you can, this is at 400 magnification, and you can see how small it is and moving around. But if you can catch this, let me see if I can get all those microbes swimming around too. They're just so active right now. It's hard to catch them on screen here. They just keep going by. Let me get the hand out of the way, like so. Oops. And it's ever so delicate. But that is our nice little root here. And I want to do, if I can get it just right, let's see if I can back it off here. See these little bumps in here? Again, I wish I had a better microscope, but it costs several $1,000s, so maybe sometime in the future. Now, what's inside this root that's growing, and I want to talk about this. See these blotches in here where this little hand is moving around that I have? Now that is mycorrhizal fungi. It actually invades the root here and grows in the cell. So that's just something that's just swimming around. Now, what they do is they invade the cells, the individual cells of the roots, and that's why they grow inside the root. That's why mycorrhizal fungi needs a host. There's something moving in the background. So that host is that root and will grow inside it. All these little spots here is not something wrong with the root. That's mycorrhizal fungi growing inside the root. Increase the magnification up to 1,000 right now, and I want to show you this. Every so often I do come across this and catch it in the early stage. What this is right here, that's mycorrhizal fungi spore, that tiny little round ball here, and you can see how it's actually, it will attach itself to the root and then grow inside it. You can see that faint line and some more down here. That's what it's doing. It's invading the root and then will live inside the root, and it doesn't hurt the root at all. It actually, once that line goes in there, and it will spread out, almost looks like a pair of lungs inside an individual cell. I can't, zoom in that close with my microscope. But once that is invaded into that cell, it actually is, let's say, a immune system to that root, because once it's invaded, nothing else can get into that cell and hurt that cell. So that's why mycorrhizal fungi is helpful in lots of ways, but it also is an immune system to that root, because once it invades that root and takes up that space inside that cell, nothing else can go in there. And mycorrhizal fungi is a fungi that will grow out now in making a huge network into the soil, and what it does, it will bring in more nutrients and more water to just this small little living root that's from the plant, or several roots from the plant. It will go, and these mycorrhizal fungi, and you can buy the inoculant online, will just make a host or web of fungi all through here and just make it amazing how strong that root can be, and it can bring in, again, so much water and so much nutrients, and also communicate with other plants next to it. Now I want to show you all the life that's in there. Now what we have here, these are clay particles, and they're kind of flat and shiny. And you can tell that's the difference between sand. Sand is kind of more of a translucent type of material, and then your organic matter is usually the darker brown material in there. But you can see here, anything you see swimming around, that's bacteria. Now let's see. I'm not going to, like I said, there's all different types of good bacteria that's in our soil or in our raised bed. I just want to show you by just moving things around slowly here. Anything you see moving is most likely bacteria that's eating everything. Now, I'm just going to move around very slowly, and you can see all the bacteria that's in there moving around in all our soil life. Right now we're still at 400 magnification. Just look at it all just beaming and moving around. I'll just stop for a second here. Now, like again, this spot here, anything that's the smallest thing that you can see moving around, that's your bacteria. Now, let's see if we can move into some other spots here. Let's see if we can contrast it a little bit more, like so. That is our beautiful bacteria that's inside our group. Here's something fascinating I just found. This is not a root. What this is, and this is how you identify fungi. Now you can see all the small bacteria moving around next to that piece of fungi. All those little black dots, that's like, again, bacteria. So now what I want to do here, let's reduce this down in size. Oops, wrong way. Now, how you know something is fungi instead of a root, one is that it has a thin wall on the outside and is very translucent to look into it. But now, if we move downwards, all right, let's do this. Okay, right here. See how when it moves down here, see that little lip or growth pattern? That's fungi. Fungi grows not in a straight line. I shouldn't say straight line. It doesn't grow in just one long like root. It always has these breaks, and it's just sections inside the fungi that's making it just be able to grow inside the soil without a problem. So let's move this in here more towards the middle so you can see it, and then let's go down. Let's go past this dirt. Let's see how far it goes down. This is it. And you can see it's almost like an elbow in a joint or something like that. See, there's another break here and then goes down. It's grown in sections. It's, you know, does the one thing. Now there's a beautiful little bacteria chewing away on this piece of fungi already because it's dying off and it's not going to live. So the bacteria is even attacking this on the slide already, and is eating that fungi in the soil. Now if it wasn't dead or not being connected to the root still or growing other things, the bacteria would not eat it. Now there's other things that eat fungi and then move it along, like your protozoas and your nematodes, or fungal eating nematodes will eat this fungi. So let's go down further. We'll just trace it down the line here. Let's see if I can move this slowly. It's a better shot. You can see this, the top growth stopped here and then regrow again, and that's the fungi in your soil. It just keeps making these connections from one part of the fungi to another part of the fungi, and then it can stretch out. And you can see the difference here, just making it so available to see that it grows in these, let's say, sections, two different sections, but it attaches itself. The reason why this does it too in nature is that in case let's say the fungi is broken off by tillage or other pieces, that let's say this piece dies off, that it can heal itself very quickly on this spot and then regrow again. I want to thank you so very much for watching today's video. In my next video, we're going to go out and try to kill off that cover crop or winter rye with the suggestions of all those nice people that wrote in by using both a tarp and also cardboard. If you have a moment, please like the video and share it with other people. I'll see you again shortly. Bye.